Just a water for you.
Oh, thank you. Give a shout out to my queen right there who helped me put the slides together. Come on now, give her a hand. Yeah.
Thanks.
No problem right there. Let's see if I can- That's too big anyway, right? Let me just.
Yeah.
The female yin hex. Any woman wishing to gain the love of a man should make a spice cake for him. And you know, a lot of women already know a lot about this, but I don't think they have the science down packed. So that's why I'm giving this here. And you're not doing this because out of spite, because you just want him, or he met him the other night, and he maybe has a girlfriend and used the condom. You don't do it to a person like that. I'm talking about somebody that you're involved with over a period of time, and they still doing running around on you or whatever, and still got to use the condom. Y'all been together for like 6 months and y'all still using the condom, something wrong. During the process of making the cake, she passes some of the ingredients between her thighs and under her armpits to charge it with energetic imprints. And brothers, I kind of think we all ate this before. Of her body, energetic imprints of her body. And she has more control of you. I'm pretty sure, if you go down south and church and all that, you know, most of us have eaten something that was, because we don't, we eat out a lot most of the time in the day and age. You don't know what the hell you're eating. Big hairy cracker with his arms making you a pizza and you gonna put it in your mouth. Big hairy Italian hands, yeah, and you go eat it. What kind of energy is that? You know what I'm saying? But if my queen made some of this, I'm gonna eat it. I like it. So, but I'm saying this is all part of what we call with war between the sexes. It wasn't all bad. It was a lot of, we put a lot more into creation. When you brought a child here, there was love. Of course, today it's a different story. Did we read this one? The magical technique uses food in order to implant subtle suggestive influences into the victim's subconscious mind. These implanted images are then later triggered and activated through constant exposure. Okay, so what Randolph is saying here, you keep doing it. You know, every time, so he had the spice cake that you made up. The next time you eat a spice cake, it's going to trigger the memory of some kind of sexuality or whatever she did. It's going to have that essence. Last week we talked about the different essences that the women have. The underarm essence, the yin, the juice from the peach juice, which is the breast, and so on. We got the tape right there. And okay. This is what I call cunnilingus. And basically, this is something we know naturally how to do, but we'll go through a little bit of it so we can understand what's happening here. Cunnilingus, which is oral sex. And on your first contact, you're going to go through numbers 1 to 4. Number 1 to 4 are only kisses. So you have 1 here, which is outside the rim. 2, right? 3, and 4. Okay, so you see a line going across right here. And then 5, 6, 7, and 8 are licks. Okay? 5, 6, and I don't even see 7 and 8. You see it up there? Well, that's just 5 and 6, right? Yeah. And those are up and down motions. So you're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you're gonna go 5, 6, up and down like that. First contact. And this one is the lick rest cycle because, nigga tongue can get tired. That should get a cramp. 1, 2, and 3, long lick, okay, which is 1, up, 2 down, and 3 is to lick. Actually, your whole mouth should cover at first, cover the entire vagina. Number 2 are 5 short legs. Okay. Number 2, you do 5 short legs. Number 3, still and flat tongue, and then 5 short legs. Okay. Very simple. I don't think anybody don't understand me on that one. This is the half legs. And we're talking energies here. That's what we're talking about, energies. Half and full legs. 1, this is 1 here. So half legs you're gonna do times 5. Okay, times 5 right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. Number 2, and then 1 full leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, boom, 6 is all the way up. So now, and if you notice, most of the slides, we're not really touching the clitoris until it got to certain time periods or areas. So you got 5 little short legs that don't even touch. You go right to the edge of the urethra, which is here, the beginning of the urethra, and then on the final one, you're all the way up and bypass the clitoris. You go right over the clitoris. And of course here, I think we showed this slide. This is all the different parts of the vagina. I'm pretty sure y'all know what that looked like. Immortality of love, we talked about. And so let me go to the sperm wars, because it's very interesting, because actually,
that's right. Let me just go back to something you were talking about just a minute ago.
Sure.
When you were talking about the use of condoms,
yeah.
You said if people are still using them after 6 months. Now, what about to prevent pregnancy?
Well, don't use a condom, use your mind. Your mind is what controls all that. That's why I'm saying retention, that's what retention is all about. If you're not ready to have a child, learn how to retain that, not by pressing and condoms and all of that, by knowing, you know when you're about to have an orgasm or an ejaculation. Stop. Stop at that moment. Don't let the fluid leave the brain. And kiss her and absorb the energy, because you get ready to lose energy. You don't want to lose energy, you want to absorb energy. So now you're going to go and you're going to drink as much of her saliva as you can. Okay? So that's, no, you don't, you're not even supposed to have nothing to do with a condom at all.
So, like, if you're going to, so you're saying don't ejaculate at all, or if you ejaculate to withdraw?
You ejaculate when you're ready, when you're both ready. You go through all this process.
But you don't ejaculate inside of her. That's what you're saying.
If you want to have a baby, you do.
But if you don't?
If you don't want to have a baby, you do not. No. Different other techniques she could use. She could use it as a sperm facial. She could. It's nutritious for her as far as protein and all those. There's so many different things. We really didn't get to that. I don't know if we will get to that right now. Sperm has soldiers. Some of the soldiers are older, some of the soldiers are younger. The older soldiers are blockers. Say, for instance, she had a boyfriend, and the boyfriend has whatever, germs inside of her, because everybody leaves behind germs. A germ, or germs. Those blockers that you have, the longer you wait to ejaculate, the stronger your blockers get. And fight the germs and all of that of the previous guy and whatever she may have. It fights that. But it also may hinder you getting her pregnant, because those blockers may block the way of the new sperm. That's why the Moors always masturbated when they want to have a baby. They masturbated first so that the old blockers could get out of there, and that the new sperm will incubate the female, which is what we're getting ready to read. Masturbation between acts of intercourse means that a man inseminates his partner with fewer sperm than if he had not masturbated. However, and see, remember, masturbation, the cracker made all this stuff look bad. This is nature. We're talking about nature here, for man and woman. The word master is in front of that, okay? However, the sperm he introduces are younger more dynamic, and less hindered by the numerarity geriatric sperm. As
Geriatric sperm.
Geriatric, right. Thank you. As a result, just as many, if not more, manage to escape the seminal pool and stay in the woman. As the sperm that escapes are younger and more active altogether, a more efficient army, okay? All the same, a man needs to inject some old sperm as blockers, as many as are needed to top up the population of blockers in his partner's cervical mucus. For 3 days after a couple's last routine intercourse, the aging of sperm in a man's tube tracks the loss of, it's only getting smaller, boy. Whew. Let me see. Now, where was I? Okay. For 3 days after the couple last routine intercourse, the aging of sperm in a man's tubes track the loss of blockers in the partner's cervix in exquisite precision. Given any gap between successive intercourse from 30 minutes to 3 days, he can introduce into the partner a perfect ejaculation to top up her population of blockers. She still has blockers from previous lovers if she has it. Once the gap exceeds 4 days, however, his sperm query develops an excess of blockers. This happens because there are only so many channels in the cervical mucus, and once he has enough old sperm to block these, any further blockers are redundant. In fact, they are worse than redundant, for they probably hinder the escape of the younger sperm from the seminal pool into the cervix because at a certain point, therefore, the man's best sperm is best policy is to shed the oldest part of his column of sperm before inseminating the woman, okay? It says here, the man's best policy is to shed the oldest part of his column of sperm before inseminating the woman. So when you know that you want to impregnate a woman, there's a process. It ain't just, oh, I'm going to go home and get my wife pregnant. No, there's a process. Intricate one, too. It all depends what type of child you want to produce. What type of child do you want to produce, okay? Rather than leaving them for her to eject in her flow back. This is one of the functions of masturbation, okay? So that is actually one of the functions, the reason why you, as a human being, even discovered some shit like that about yourself. It's a natural, it's part of nature. Wow. Let me just see what else I got here first. Let's look at this. Because I only have about 5 minutes and I want to take question and answer. Whenever a woman anticipates sperm warfare, she more often than not has some preference over who should win. Okay, sperm warfare meaning a woman that has more than one lover. And also the battle between new sperm and blockers, which we just read. But in this instance, we're talking about a female with more than one lover. Usually, that preference is for the lover, not for the partner. Otherwise, she would not risk at all, potentially, cost of infidelity. She wouldn't even fucking mess around and take a risk on that if it wasn't for that reason. That's what she may not be saying that consciously in her mind, but that's what her body is saying. Usually, that preference is for the lover, not the partner. Otherwise, she would not risk all the potential costs of infidelity. Okay? Any questions? We're going to stop right there. We only got about 10 minutes. We got, Infodicia's going to do his Metanetta class next, so we're gonna cut it right there. If anybody got any questions or any input or anything that you want to discuss or talk about before we close out.
Well, okay.
When you were speaking before about the orgasm, the difference between the orgasm and the ejaculation, and if you're not trying to produce something, it sounds like you shouldn't even, from what I was gathering, it sounds like you shouldn't even let it even act like it's gonna get to that point. You stop it well before that.
You stop it when you feel it coming, because what you're gonna do is, instead of you losing energy, you're gonna absorb her energy. You're gonna stop the flow. And okay, you stop making your moves, and she senses that. You're gonna bend over and kiss her. Either whether it's the breast, which is the peach juice, whether you pull out and kiss the vagina, whatever it may be. I recommend starting off by getting saliva, okay? And this is how you keep your powers, your replenishment. Every time you stop an ejaculation, it heals you somewhere. The first one, heal the eyes, the heart, the so on and so on and so on. So, yes, there's the science of blockers, but maybe you're not trying to have a baby, okay? Maybe you don't want to have a baby. Maybe you want to store up energy. Because of all your life, not knowing this, you leaked energy all over the place, okay? And whenever you speak, make sure your words don't hurt her feelings, okay? Make sure your words are always loving while you're in that sexual act. And don't even really do it unless you love the person, honestly. I honestly believe that you should not actually have sex with a person unless you love them. Because there's a possibility that what you create will be the prisons are full of people that parents didn't love each other. Okay, the world is full of that. So that's just my recommendation. That's the origin of marriage. Marriage, when you stuck your penis in, you was married to the woman. Okay? That's the origin of it. It ain't like that now, but that's what we need to really deal with. Anything else?
Now, well, just based on that, I mean, what if you go to love the person, but you're just not sexually compatible?
Well, yeah, you can love a flower. You can love anything. It ain't gonna have to be a person. It could be a tree. You could love, I love music,
But I'm saying, like,
But-
if you love a woman and she's boring in bed or whatever the case may be, you're always
That's
going to
your
be
fault.
you're going to be looking for good sex outside of that
No,
relationship.
that's your fault, because the techniques I'm showing you and the things that we're going to talk about and we did talk about, if you do those things, there's no boring, okay? Like I said, it's called vampirism. If she's not into the science of the sexual energy and all like that, we went through the whole list of techniques that you could do to vampire her energy. If she want to sit there and not be down with you and she's supposed to be loving you and all of this, then you go through the vampire stage right here. Vampirism. Let me go back one. Vampirism. Gathering sexual energy when your partner is not concerned with energy cultivation but enjoys pleasure of having many orgasms. Okay? The only thing you have to either love her or know that she's not, her auric field doesn't have all these parasites as far as she likes to eat McDonald's and steak and all of that, and then you absorb all of that. But no, if it's left up to her, maybe it will be boring because she don't know nothing. You're the one that's in this class, and you're the one learning this stuff. Okay, so that's what's to help you for this. So no one could be boring. If you fall in love with a woman out there, and you know this, there's no boring in it. Okay? Anything else? So how did you guys feel about what we heard today?
It was stimulating.
You're right, it was. I hope that worked. Okay.
The part that I did, good, and I sort of went into my pineal gland on you. Did you see me?
Yeah, I saw that.
We heard you.
But it's a very important subject, and it's really a mess out here. I mean, it's really a mess out here. Somebody got to start talking about this stuff and really dropping the real science, the real deal. They do all that stuff because they don't know this, okay? And it's available to me. That means it's available to everybody else, okay? So
Yeah.
we just need more people.
I mean, well, just I don't know how much you got. What, 5 minutes?
About
But-
5-10 minutes. Your class started at 4, right?
Yes.
Yeah, about
Okay.
15 minutes. Yeah.
So you were talking about the reasons why women basically have sex outside of the relationship with her partner.
Yeah.
It's like, why do men do it? Is it just a conquering thing? Or just
Well,
prove
I hate to
so many?
mention that without breaking it down and showing all the slides and going in on that. But we did talk a little bit about it when we talked about the condom curses. Okay, ego, lack of knowledge, parents didn't love each other, and I could go down a list of various reasons why a person might do that. Mainly not lack of knowledge. Mainly lack of knowledge. Okay, you know, I'm a one-woman man, and honestly, I said this, and I say it just about every time I talk about this subject. I can only handle one black woman at a time. I don't know about you brothers, you know, and can't do it. It's no way, you know. And they are sisters, and me and Ifadishi discussed this last week. Yeah, some of them want to act like a man and feel like, you know, challenge you and all of that. But honestly, I believe that just like the Amazons, just like the women of Morocco, those big, strong women, they just strong women. And I cite the movie Gone with the Wind. If you watch Gone with the Wind, which is Academy Award, a black woman in there calling them little white babies crackers and white trash. I said, that is the black woman. She's always been like that. Okay? It's something possibly in us that changed. Okay? And that hey, you gotta look at the evidence.
Well, you said
know, I want my sisters to be strong. I don't want no weak cracker woman. No, I want them. What? Come on, man. A strong sister behind you? Think about it. Think about it.
Well,
yeah, right now we got to deal with it.
You said the time is limited, so I don't want to challenge you too much on that. But
go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
No, I mean, because it seems like a lot of, I hear a lot of people, not you, but in general, I hear a lot of black women say that when things don't work out with a black man, the first thing they gravitate toward is saying, "Oh, he just can't handle a strong black woman." And a lot of times I find that they equate being difficult and argumentative and combative with being strong.
Right.
And that's not always the case. Sometimes they're just difficult to get along with. A lot of women, and I'm not casting an aspersion on all black women, but I'm just saying that some black women are not pleasant to be around.
Right.
But they equate that with being strong.
Mm-hmm. And that's lack of knowledge. And it's really the individual. It's the individual because why don't I meet these people? Why this person always meeting these kind of people? Because it's his own reflection. He's looking at himself. You know, if you got a sister that ain't acting right, you know, and you met her and you got with her, that means that you magnetically said, oh, you know, it's something about her that I'm attracted to. And guess what that is? Yourself. You know, you're looking at yourself in a mirror. So anybody that says that really has some issues on the inside that they possibly need to deal with. You know, maybe that energy she has needs to be activated within you. And you act like that. You know, maybe it's something like that. You never know. But it's you who have to fix what it is, not her. And she may have issues with you. She has to fix that also because you're also her mirror. You see, so that's what's missing. People don't understand that. It's not that, oh, that person is messed up. No, well, why are you dealing with them then? Because it's a contraction and a mirror reflection. It's in you too. You see? Otherwise, you know nothing about it. You want nowhere near it.
I'm raising
my
certain
queen,
issues.
I don't have no problem with my queen because I don't have that in me.
Right. Now, I'm only raising these issues because I hear a lot of people say these things. But what I'm also thinking, as you're saying that, and this is also a question, could it be because of the racial history of this country in the sense that black men have been in a position where they couldn't really protect black women from the viciousness and savagery of white men. Yeah, but I'm saying we know that a lot of brothers wind up dead. You know, trying to fend for their woman. So there's some, like, on a subconscious level, there's some hidden resentment that black women have towards black men. Because I noticed that, and I've been in job situations where black women had an attitude with me, but then they get around white men and they're just as pleasant and nice as they could possibly be.
Well,
And
I talk to a lot of people. I talk to a lot of people, especially women, okay? Most of them have been raped by their fathers, by boyfriends, numerous times throughout their life. And honestly, out of all the women I may talk to, and I talk to a lot, one may not have. And the rest, all of them, somewhere have been traumatized sexually, okay? from what I met and for who I counsel and talk to, that's what happened. So it's more than Willie Lynch. There's something else going on, and it has a lot to do with the education of parenting and sexuality, and history is involved with this also. But yeah, they've been traumatized, a lot of them. And so when they get around the white boy, they ain't get traumatized by the white boy in this reality right here and now, because they don't know their history. They're just going to work with a job. And they say, oh, that white face, he came to help me when that nigga tried to rape me. A white man came, a cop, and helped me. You know, that's in their mind. And so you have to change that by representing something other than what she knows. And so you have to take it, if you want them back, if we're working on getting them back, you're going to have to say to yourself, I'm going to have to deal with the pain of trauma and the pain of listen to the arguments and the fighting and all that, just to get my queen back and make myself compatible with her, and not to give her all this knowledge, all of that. Do the knowledge, let her see it, and then she will follow. Don't go say, oh, you got to do it this way and break it down. No, do not ever do that. Do not ever try to break down knowledge on a metaphysical level to a woman. Just do that shit, and she behind you 100%. Make it work. Any other questions? Go ahead, brother.
I don't want to take up all the time.
We're going to stop in a few minutes. So.
I just can't wait to get home.
Yeah, me too. We're planning our ritual.
I don't know. Do you have any suggestions for a situation where two people got together, created a child, neither one of them meant to stay with the other?
Meant to
But-
stay together?
No. But now that the child is here, the woman wants this man, but he doesn't necessarily want to be with her. But yeah, he wants to see the child, and she doesn't want him to see the child unless, you know, he's down with her too.
Right.
What would you-
Education, really. There's no 1 minute answer to that to like finish, to clean up that whole situation. As long as it took to get there, that's how long it's going to take to get out of there. Okay? So, if they love each other, then we show they don't love each other.
I'm not sure how that is.
Well, if they love each other, they can do rituals or whatever to get back together, you know, and really the man is going to have to step it up. Not so much the woman, the man is going to have to, because it's his child, he's the provider. When a boy, in Africa, when a boy got to 8 years old, it was immediately handed over to the father, okay? So, but yeah, no, as long as it took to get into that situation, it's going to take at least that much time to get out of it. So, you know, there's no straight answer that's just going to wipe those problems out. You got to work on it. It's work. It's hard.
How would you work on something like that?
Ritual, consciousness. We showed rituals. We showed how to attract a man. What was it? Which ritual did we show? Let's look at it
Okay.
real quick. And there are many more. I just can't go through all of that here. As we go on, we will have, you know, other things that you could do. But,
Because sometimes you just can't talk to the person. It's kind of hard to, you know,
what does that say? Stop talking.
stop leaking.
Yeah, you're leaking energy when you talk. If the person's not listening, you're leaking energy. You're making yourself weak. Yeah, the spice cake we talked about. And there are so many others. But
Spaghetti.
I think that's traditional, right? The spaghetti is traditional. Everybody know about the spaghetti. You know, you go to somebody's house and say, here's some spaghetti and meatball. Who is this? I don't know.
Make sure it's white sauce.
You know? But the female yin hex, and that is just what I said, making a cake, and as you make it, the different ingredients, men could do this too, the different ingredients into the cake. A spice cake, not pumpkin pie and all that, a spice cake. Get a recipe for a spice cake, which is something the Moorish witches dealt with. So, of Morocco, who were actually called witches, they would take these spice cakes and make them, You know, the genital parts, but you know, all of that. You know, there was no deodorant back then that'll mess up those glands. And into the cake and feed it to them. You know.
So after the cake is done,
Yeah.
then you take the cake and what do
Feed
you
it to them. Give it to them. Okay.
Yeah, but how do you mix the genitals? And you just rub the cake.
Put it in while you're
The
making it.
ingredients.
And when you make the batter.
Yeah, the ingredient. Not so much the batter. The ingredients. The sugar. Okay. What would be most likely best place to put the sugar?
On top.
Okay. Probably in the vagina. Probably.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
You know. And what else you add? Baking soda? I don't know. That maybe under the arms. Good for the arms anyway. Right. So I mean, be creative.
I
Be
see.
creative. While you're doing that, you're projecting in your thoughts. Okay? You're projecting it. Don't use metal spoons. Stir that motherfucker with them 2 fingers. Okay? And you're projecting in your thoughts.
Then you
Okay.
put yourself in it.
Right. Surround him in pink. You know, you could, okay, if he comes to your house often or you go to his house often or whatever, always wear something pink when you go there. Always bring him in a place where it is pink. Because that'll create that unconditional love. You know, that may exist or may not. If it does not exist, he's going to move further away from you if he sees pink around you. Okay.
Have time for one more? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. I noticed that, and this is just another observation of mine, that with a lot of young women today, they seem to be very fidgety, almost like they need constant stimulation.
Mhm.
And anytime they meet a man that can't provide that stimulation or excitement, it's like they get bored easily, and that's
age group
and
we're
they
talking
seem
about
like,
here?
well,
Depends on
I
the
mean,
age
if you want to talk about like even 25, 30, 35, even I notice even older
But mainly
today.
because when you're dealing with different age groups,
Mhm.
there's different mentalities and different energies. The younger energies is different from before menstruation, menstruating. I mean, you know, it's different energies that could create that based on the chemicals that run through the body at that particular time. If she's menstruating, then that's like a man in puberty. You know, if you take a man and if you take a bunch of sisters that's young, 15, 16, 17, they're menstruating, and lock them in a room, you're gonna see poltergeists, ghosts. Energy's gonna get thrown, stuff flying and whatnot. You know, just invisible energies. TV cutting off. Go see the movie Poltergeist. That's what poltergeists are. You know, if you're like, it's a little girl about to menstruate. She's going off. So, and same thing with boys when they go through puberty. If you take boys like the penile system and lock them together like that, you create all kind of energies that you can channel that fly all over the place. See? Because that energy gets stuck and stagnated. So it depends on.
But why do they seem to have this like propensity for like the grimiest niggas they could find? I mean,
Mind
it's like
control.
it seems like the guys that are on lockdown in prison, they have no problem getting women.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got women that are literally be out here waiting on some dude who's not coming home for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And you got good brothers out here who can't find a good woman.
Right. Well, mainly mind control. Mainly mind control because most women are attracted to men who have other sexual partners. They sense that in their auric field, the smell and all of that.
But even if it's to their own detriment, you're saying.
Yeah, because it's of the mind control. Yeah. They feel as though it's a very attracting scent to them. It's a manly, you know, like a person that doesn't have sex a lot may not emit that smell. They'd be very quiet, not talk a lot, off to themselves. And 1 or 2 women will like them because they like that particular thing. But most of the women won't gravitate to one. They gravitate toward the jock dude. You know, they got all the girls. You know, the fame and all that. And it's a certain smell that he releases. That's why. That turns her on sexually, animalistic thing.
Yeah, and just to veggie back on top of that, it was like I remember my freshman year in college. You know, like freshman men, it's like they got taboo. No, not even freshman women want to talk to freshman men, okay? But freshman girls, everybody's trying to, you know, freshman girls, okay. But freshman guys, so the freshman guys, first semester, you trying to talk and you're not getting no play, not even a hello almost, you know? And then I attracted this girl who was like the co-captain of the cheerleaders. So she was like the baddest sister on the campus almost, you know, right? And immediately when we start becoming a number, then I had like 50 women coming at me, notes under my book, my notebook, and you know, it was like, it was getting ridiculous. It was like, you know, people just approaching me on the lunch counter. Oh, I'll pay for your lunch, you know. Where were you last semester? You know? But I think you give off a certain energy when you already have, you know, the female energy. The male is emitting that scent, that odor, that aura, that confidence. And I think women are attracted to that.
And vice versa. And vice versa. You can see a girl walking down the street and you get attracted to her, there's a reason for that. And everybody, you see all the guys like, and that's because she has many, many sexual partners. I mean, basically just the way she dressed tells you everything, you know. If you see a woman with a nice long flowing dress, she may be the same way, but at least she doesn't look that way. At least there's something going on up here that's a little better, you see. But all those tight clothes and all of that, it's this illness in that. Dr. Africa could drop it on you for dealing with that tight clothes and all that, you know. So, any other questions, brother? Nobody?
I've
Everybody
asked enough. I'll save some for next time.
Man, we still got about 5 more minutes. 5 more, brother. 5 more minutes.
I have to beat women off with a stick.
Yeah?
You do?
Wow.
Well, I wish I had that problem, bro.
Women beat me with a stick. I don't
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So we covered, last week we covered, I have the tape from last week also. Last week we covered succubus, we covered what love is, why you need to love, and why you should not actually, in my opinion, not have sex. Sex and love is 2 different things. In my opinion, you should not have sex with a person you don't love, if you're trying to create a child. Never have a child with someone you do not love, even though the female in the sperm wars we read will go out of her partnership to try to have a baby. Didn't we just read that? You know, risking all that she has at home to have this child. Women will do that. You understand? But I suggest that you would never ever do that without loving the female. You have to love her. Okay? That's the love is immortality.
And my question is, though, I guess if you find yourself in that situation where you've done that, then you're saying it's on her to try to, if she wants to keep you as a man in her life.
But love is mutual. There's a connection. There's a psychic connection. If a person does not love you and you love them, you know that. It's not like you don't know. Because we went through the lesson, you begin to look like each other. Nature marries you, not the white man. Nature says, I'm going to make you look like him and him look like you. That's love. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts. If y'all don't look alike, guess what? He don't love you. Get out of there. They don't love you. All right? You've seen it before. You see couples walk down the street, don't look like each other.
We saw that today.
Yeah. And then we see today also couples that looked exactly alike. Take my man Arnold.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
You know Arnold, dark skin, his wife is light skin. They look just alike.
Same.
But they totally, they don't look alike really, but their auric fields, just looking at them and say, damn, they look just alike. Same energy. That's how you know the love is there. Okay? Nature gave you all the eyes and all of that you need to tell all of this stuff. And that's where we got to go back to nature. No pills, no condoms, or elastics, and all of that stuff from the cracker. Leave that nigga alone. I hate that nigga. I honestly I know that. I really do. I understand that we all got to live on the planet together and all of that. But if you know what I know, you will feel the same way.
Some people just don't mix.
No, we don't get along with them.
No.
We created them. And I don't want to get into all of that because it gets me all stirred up and angry and I start sounding like Dawood.
And right quick, are there any specific foods that you would suggest that women could eat, which could alter the taste of her vaginal fluids?
Fruit, definitely fruit. Definitely fruit. Monitor what you eat before you have sex. You don't even want to have And I'm saying I'm not perfect either. Sometimes, you know, I eat and then have sex. You're not supposed to do that.
So you don't want to
You
eat
want
a
just
big.
come
You don't
flat.
want to eat a big hearty meal,
Hell no.
obviously.
Hell
Can I
no.
make a statement here?
Yes, yes.
As a naturopath holistic healer, basically, they don't really mix. When you eat in almost anything, it takes more energy, your digestive system, digestive tract, takes more energy than any human function. So if you have a meal, your blood is going to your digestive tract. That interferes with your thinking, that interferes with
Yeah.
you able to perform,
Yep.
it interferes with everything because your food, you can't put it on hold. When you eat it, the digestive tract now and the mind is sending stuff there and the digestive energy is on that. And so, you know, you should make love on an empty stomach,
Exactly.
you know, eat
Right.
afterwards.
You make sure in the bedroom, get a bowl of fruit. Have a bowl of fruit in there because there may be intermissions. Okay, you got intermissions. Candles, bowl of fruit, beeswax candles, please. Okay, not Botanica candles. I know those are fine for rituals and all of that, but they're very toxic. You want the beeswax because what are the bees? Birds and the bees, sexual and all of that. Flowers, rose juices, and a lot of fruit. Okay, and if you, I don't know if y'all get smoke or whatever, yeah, the weed is good and all of that. That's cool too. But the heavy food, you know, stay away from
So you
that.
want to eat light just to keep your energy up.
Right. What do you like? Because
But what
But you don't want
you
to
said
eat
nothing.
if you know you're going to get ready to have sex. Okay?
right. But if you're planning a really big sexual session,
Fruit, like
because you can
said.
plan a big sexual session for a future event that's coming a certain date, like the summer solstice. All of y'all planning a super duper all day sexual session to get the magic. But we have that, so when you do that, you for that whole week before, you want to start cleansing fruits and juices all week long, so that your body smells. No, take a shower every day if you have to. Don't use deodorant and all of that. Don't use that stuff if you're not gonna, you know, be going places where you have to be around a lot of people. Because if you wash it every day, I do this in the summer, it won't. The natural, what I call funk, I guess, doesn't smell as bad as old fucking funk. It's a different smell. After you get out of the shower and you start sweating a little bit, that's not a bad smell if you start to perspire. But if you let it go for a day or two, that's a whole other story. Okay, but the initial.
And one
Yeah.
more quick one.
Yeah.
Some women are uncomfortable with having sex, like unless they're under the sheets, unless the lights are out, and more men, because we're visually stimulated, we want to see things.
And that's not good, because when you see it, that's like Medusa. When you feel like you're about to ejaculate, do not look at her, because you ain't gonna be able to hold it back. You see, so not seeing her is actually good. Use your mind. Use your mind. That's what she does.
But some women,
Because
I
she
noticed
functions
that
from here first.
because some of
And then
them
she
are
comes down.
uncomfortable with their bodies too, because
Well,
they
most
think
women,
we're going to
you
find
know,
flaws with
a lot of
them
women have never
physically.
even seen their vagina. A lot of women have never even seen their vagina. You see, but remember what I said. Their energies start here and go flow downward, so they already visualize. They're doing their shit. Your energies start there and come up, so you ain't thinking of nothing. You fucked up. So you have to start thinking with the mind. And like I said, when you're in the midst of a heavy sexual act, and about to have an ejaculation or orgasm, take your eyes off her. Don't look at her, because if you look at her close, do something. Because if you look at her, you're gonna
So
lose.
do you recommend in the darkness or
Darkness can be good. It can be good if you can develop the mind. Darkness can be good. You can develop the mind. You know what she looked at. You've seen her before, right? She got out the shower or something. I mean, you know. So visualization is key in all sexual techniques. Bringing forth a creation sexually is all part of that visualization. It's coming from the astral plane. We're not really talking about physical stuff too much here, really, if you really think about it. We're talking about astral information here. That's what we're talking about. And so, that's the end of the class. We'll be back here next week. We're about to start the minute in the class. And I think we're going to be here for that class, too. We are here for that class.
Give Azazel a wonderful
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
A black
All right.
man.